you. Unmute, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I hope that those colleagues who are saying that legislatures have a right to obtain the information they seek and that holding people in contempt for not complying with subpoenas is not an excuse to put them in jail, but rather it is an attempt to effectuate the people's right to information will remember that this week and next week as the legislature you belong to works to get information from material witnesses to the violent insurrection that led to the wounding and the injury of more than 140 officers and interrupted the counting of electoral college votes for the first time in American history in the most sweeping violent attack on the U.S. Capitol since the War of 1812. So that's a point that people should keep in mind. So the second point I want to make is you cannot bemoan the people's loss of faith in elections while you're spreading information and propaganda that are eroding the people's faith in elections. Now, when there are real problems, all of us need to act to address them. But I don't think it's a fitting response to the situation to spread lies and propaganda and disinformation that are being refuted today by Republican witnesses and then say we have a problem with people's faith in elections. Now, Madam Chair, this is one of the most important hearings I've ever seen in my life. There's no doubt this is the most important thing going on in America today, and I hope everybody listens to it. We have before us top-ranking, highly qualified election officials who happen to be Republicans, Chairman Sellers and Mr. Gates, who have told us that the election in Maricopa County was the most secure, verified election in our history. They have told us that the attacks on the election are a scam to keep people angry and donating. They have said that the attacks on the election are lies. They have explained to us that the elections in Arizona were free, fair, and accurate, and that Joe Biden won by more than 45,000 votes. This was confirmed by the counties, confirmed by the hand counts, confirmed by the machine counts, and confirmed by the people, over 90% of whom believe the lawful results. And yet still, we have people today in this hearing trying to perpetrate the big lie, which their own concocted audit itself discredited. So it's just a remarkable moment and an extraordinary thing for America to see here. Now, Chairman Sellers, let me come back to you. Was there any fraud or corruption materially affecting the outcome of the election in Arizona in 2020?
No, and in fact, before we certified the election, we asked a lot of questions. You know, we had an over 2-hour meeting where the results of the election were presented to us. We were able to ask questions that had been presented to us by different people in our legislature and our Senate. And, you know, we very carefully went through everything before we canvassed and approved that election.
You have invoked in this remarkable onslaught, which continues by Donald Trump and his followers against the election, a, quote, staggering refusal to follow the will of the people, which, of course, is the essence of democracy. How do you explain this staggering refusal to follow the will of the people?
Well, you know, I'm not sure how I explain it because a lot of people don't seem to realize that the Board of Supervisors do a lot of things other than just elections. And we are the fastest growing county in the United States, and I'm so anxious to get us back onto doing the kind of things that are truly important for us to be doing rather than relitigating things. And as people have asked questions about the audit and the things that have been brought up in the audit, virtually everything has already been answered. Our recorder is working
at every level. And forgive me, I just want to ask you one last question before we go, because much has been made of the fact that you guys are Republicans. You've been lifelong Republicans, active Republicans, and all you're trying to stand up for is a free, fair, and accurate election against all of the lies and propaganda. But what if you were Democrats? You can only imagine what they'd be saying in that case. There are some people who just will not accept an accurate count in the election. And my question for you is, what does that mean for democracy if we have people who will question, even after all of these audits, even after all of this investment, the final result as determined by election officials? What does that mean for democracy?
It's very troubling, because when you give people the facts and they still do not accept them, that's a problem.
The gentleman's time has expired.